Good evening. Champions come in all shapes and sizes. This year's Super Bowl Sunday was an exceptional day, but it started off as most of my Sundays do during the wintertime, by teaching skiing up at our local mountain, Mission Ridge. And February is my favorite month up at the mountain, not only because of the great snow, but because that is when we have our consecutive week lessons. Kids ranging from 5 to 15 years in age, many of which who've never skied at all. And what makes consecutive week lessons so special is that we get to spend 5 consecutive weeks teaching the same group of students. So we get to know who they are. I get to share with them our fabulous mountain, and they get to share a bit about their journey in return. Champions come in all shapes and sizes. So it was that I found myself riding the chairlift that Sunday morning with one of my students, and we'll call him Brandon. Riding the chairlift with these kids was very much like taking a trip to Disneyland for many of them. And we engaged in some very serious conversation, usually on the way up. We covered topics such as, what is your favorite pizza? What is your favorite flavor of ice cream? What's the name of your teacher, the name of your brother, your sister, and your pets? You get the idea. What our goal is, we try and keep them from worrying too much about being suspended 100 feet in the air as we travel up the mountain. And Brandon had shared with me that he didn't ski last year, that this was his first time back after taking a break. Champions come in all shapes and sizes. And so it was this ride up the mountain, Super Bowl Sunday, and we had skiers all over the mountain, decked out in their Seahawks regalia. We had people in helmets and jerseys. We had people with scarves and 12-man flags, and our students were no exception. As I sat beside Brandon on the way up, I noticed that he appeared to be wearing what looked to be a Seahawks jersey. I noticed the gray and blue underneath his tiny chin. Is that a Seahawks jersey that you have on there, Brandon? Yep, was his cheery reply. Cool, I said. Who's your favorite player? Russell Wilson. He gave me this jersey. And then he looked down, and his eyes weren't so cheery. Well, that's pretty neat, I said. When did you get it? Champions come in all shapes and sizes. At the hospital, Brandon said. Now, I'll be the first one to admit that I'm very much that glass is half full kind of guy. And I tend to look over the negatives and focus on the positives. And I wasn't expecting what was to come. Without missing a beat, I continued, so was it some special function that you guys were at? Thinking that maybe it was a volunteer event or a dinner? His little helmet sunk a little bit lower. And he said, no, I was sick. Champions come in all shapes and sizes. Oh, Brandon, I'm so sorry to hear, I said, my mind racing as I shifted from that glass half full to now half empty. What were you in for? I stumbled, sounding more like I was talking to someone in prison than an 8-year-old child. Leukemia, was his reply, still looking down at the snow below us. But I'm better now. Better now. Leukemia is a devastating disease, even for the strongest. I can only imagine what it must have been like for the body of an 8-year-old. Champions come in all shapes and sizes. Russell was really nice, he said. Looking back at me, that sparkle in his eye had come back. He came to visit me, and we talked. and he gave me his jersey. It's my lucky jersey. I had an opportunity to talk to him a little bit about leukemia in my life and shared with him that my father had fought and won that battle with leukemia and the many, many years of great health that he had after that, and that I was hoping the same for Brandon. And I told him, I said, I guess that makes you a bit of a champion also, doesn't it, Brandon? And he smiled and nodded his head. Well, it was now time to get off the chairlift and rejoin the rest of our students. But for one of my students, he stood just a little bit taller in his lucky jersey. Champions come in all shapes and sizes. We witnessed an amazing football game that Super Bowl Sunday, and we witnessed a leader, our quarterback, Russell Wilson, display the type of character that can't be taught, the type of leadership found not only on the football field, but also off the football field. Champions come in all shapes and sizes, and they have names like Russell and names like Brandon.
Oh, that's outstanding. Let's go ahead and write down some comments for a minute. Okay.